David?
Yeah, I do. And think
Somebody's asking to come in.
I
Who's?
think are we recording?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so we're recording. Good.
We have Randall coming in from Toronto. Just wait. She's joining. Hi, Randall.
Hi.
I think we can start since we are
Yeah, because Carlos wasn't sure if he's traveling. He's pretty familiar with this type of thing, but
it's good to that we're
yeah,
okay. And so since this is recorded, David, where does this go?
I will get a copy of the recording and I
Brilliant.
will send it off to you guys so you can pass it on to whoever wants it. I can even put it in the North America portal if it's easier.
Both. Can you do
Yeah.
both?
Yeah,
Okay. I'll turn this over to you.
sure.
We've got New York, we've got California, Toronto in the house.
Okay, very good. I think that's everyone then. Right. So Kathy's put us in for an hour, but I've already done this training twice in the UK and once with Malta, and it never took more than half an hour. So I'm hoping I can give you guys back some of your time to like focus on your other more important stuff. So thanks everyone for joining. Just to introduce myself, my name is David. I'm the marketing manager for Embassy Summer and EC Young Learners. Um, Today, we're just going to go through a bit of information around our branding, and some content collection guidelines, and how we'd like to sort of work with getting content in from the centers. So I've got a presentation, and I will be leaving this presentation on the staff portal, so you can easily access it and refer to it as you need to throughout the summer. I am going to start sharing my screen. Is my screen showing? Perfect, very good. So let's go into presentation mode. Oh, that's annoying. Just one moment. Let me move this onto a different screen. Okay, let me move you guys onto the screen in that case. It's easier that way. Sorry, some technical issues on my end. There we go. Right, okay. So just bear with me a moment. I just need to close the door because there's a lot of noise. One moment, sorry.
Does anything mind to do? I can't hear it. No, I didn't.
Sorry about that. The guys in Malta are just finishing off their day of training, so it's been a bit loud. Right. So just to go through the agenda briefly. So we're going to look at our brand. We're going to look at what defines a brand, what makes up the brand. We'll talk a little bit about in-center branding and some posters that we should be putting up. We'll talk a little bit about Canva. So we've created a system whereby you guys are pretty much self-sufficient, and any kind of posters or any kind of visuals you need through summer, you can get through yourself. We'll talk a bit about the marketing request form. So in case you do need any additional resources or any additional help, or maybe you just don't have the time to do the posters yourself and you want us to step in, that's fine. We'll talk a little bit about content collection and about a user-generated content competition. So first of all, I want to open with one of my favorite quotes, right? So this is by Jonas Sachs, and he says that your brand is a story unfolding across all customer touchpoints. So what this means is that whether you're in Embassy somewhere in the UK, whether you're in Boston, in New York, in LA, Toronto, in Malta, you're having the exact same experience. Think of it like when you go to McDonald's. No matter where you are in the world, you see the same things, you smell the same things, you taste the same things. And that's the kind of experience that we want to recreate. So a brand is composed of its brand identity, which is all of the visible elements which come together consistently through consistent usage across your different sites, which identify and distinguish our brand in our consumers' minds. A brand identity is made up of many different elements. So if we look at it this way, you've got your logo. So the logo is a symbol which is comprised of words, images, and colors, and it identifies a brand or a product, and it's the main defining element of your brand. You've got your typography, so these are the fonts that we use. And with Embassy Summer, there are 2 fonts that we will use, and there's some guidelines on how to use them consistently and correctly to make sure that it's the same throughout all of our destinations. And we also have some other elements. There's color, there's shapes, there's scribbles, and there's some lettering that we use for Embassy Summer. We've tried to develop a brand that is very young, very dynamic, and very versatile. So you can have multiple unlimited permutations if you're using it correctly. So I want to start with our logo. One of my pet peeves personally is that I have seen so many variations of the Embassy Summer logo being used across our centers at the head office level. I just wanted to really give you a quick way to identify which is the correct logo that you should be using. So you'll see Embassy with Summer written in black and powered by EC. Obviously, Embassy Summer as a brand falls within the umbrella of EC English, as well as Global Achievers Academy. We have EC Live, we've got EC Escapes. We have a number of different brands. And all of our brands, if they don't have the word EC, have the tagline powered by EC under them to kind of bring them all into this one umbrella. We also have another element, which is the Embassy Summer Favicon, which is this simplified version of the main logo. And we use this logo if Embassy Summer, the main logo, is reduced in size and the text no longer becomes legible. And I'll run through some examples shortly with this. Some examples of logos that I have seen over the past years that hurt me a little bit to see. You've got Embassy with Summer written in green. You've got Embassy with Summer written in blue. And you'll notice that even the spacing of the letters is slightly off. I've seen the EC logo. And again, even though Embassy Summer falls within the EC portfolio, to the students, we're Embassy Summer. So there's no need to be showing orange. There's no need to be showing the EC logo. And there's also this footer that I've seen running around where you've got life skills and adventures for young learners. This is outdated branding. We're no longer using this. In terms of our fonts, there's 2 main fonts that we use. So there's Adele Sans, and Adele Sans is the main font that we use throughout all of the brands within EC's portfolio, whether it's EC as a product, whether it's Embassy Summer, whether it's Simula, whether it's EC Live. And we have 3 variations of this font that we use mainly. You've got the bold version, which is used for headlines, so when you really need to grab attention. You've got the light or thin version where you just want to sort of create different weights. And you've got the regular version, which should be the main version that we're using for body text and for long paragraphs. Embassy Summer also has a font called Tragic Marker. This font it's a brilliant font to connote how youthful the brand is, but it's not the best in terms of legibility. So we try to keep the use of it to a minimum, and we use it very sparingly. Historically, we used to use it a lot more, but it tends to get very messy if you're using it very frequently. So a little hint and tip from my end is if you're sending out any documents that you've designed and you're using our fonts, make sure to always save the documents as PDFs, because if you're sending it to somebody and they don't have Adele Sans or Tragic Marker installed on their machine, it may not render properly. It might default to Calibri or Arial, and it just won't look, it'll look slightly off-brand. I mean, I don't expect you to be doing this for Excel sheets, obviously, but if you're designing a poster or you're working on a Word document, it's always best to send it in PDF. In terms of our color palette, so as you can see, there are 5 main colors and there's a secondary palette. We introduced a secondary palette last year to add a bit of contrast because our primary colors are very powerful. They're very bright, very vibrant. And when you use them too much in a combination, they can become quite overpowering. The main color that we use is the Embassy Green. We also use blue and red to support the green, and we use purple as a highlight color. I've gone into a bit more detail here. So green is the main brand color, and it should feature the most prominently. As I said, blue and red secondary colors, purple tertiary. So we use this again to highlight and for backgrounds. And black is what we should be using again when we're writing, when we have paragraphs of text. And it should always be this color of black. So 3C, 3C, 3B. We do need to be using our secondary palette as much as possible as well to add contrast, as I mentioned. We also have other visual elements within the brand identity. We've got a big array of scribbles that we use, and we've got geometric modules. You'll make use of these if you use Canva. They're already preloaded. I'll get into that shortly. So just looking at some examples of how we should be using the colors. Ideally, we're alternating the secondary palette with the primary palette for high contrast. We limit purple as much as possible to backgrounds and titles. Whenever you're using the logo, make sure it's readable, otherwise switch to the favicon. Make sure that the logo is legible on all images and it has enough space around it. And whenever you're creating your artworks in Canva, make sure you're creating a very balanced visual hierarchy so that people know which part of your poster they should be attending to first and in what order. So you can see here that you've got, this is the minimum size that we can use the logo. Any smaller than this, go to the favicon. This is kind of the breathing room that we should allow between the logo and other elements. Even if you're placing the logo at the side or at the top of your document, we don't place it exactly on the edge, but we always leave this little bit of space around it. You can see here that the logo is placed on a nice background. The colors don't clash. It's very legible. And over here, you can see we've created that hierarchy so we know what is the most important thing to be reading, what's not so important, and what is the call to action, the text that needs to be really standing out. For example, if you're telling your students, speak to your activity leader to book this activity. What we should not be doing is combining clashing colors and using colors which are not within the Embassy Summer palette. We shouldn't be mixing in the very bright colors together in too much contrast, making the logo too small to be read, and we should not be distorting the logo. So if we need to make it bigger, always grab it from the corners so that it increases in size proportionately, making sure that there is enough clear space around the logo and make sure that there is, again, that visual hierarchy. So things we should not be doing. Over here, the logo has become too small to be legible. You cannot read powered by EC. Over here, the logo has been stretched, so it's not great. Over here, you can see there isn't enough breathing room, so it just feels very constricted and very tight. Over here, you've got the logo on a background where it's not very visible, the colors clash too much. We could fix this by either putting in like a white box behind it and reducing the white box to like 25% opacity, or else you can even use the all white version of the logo. And over here, you'll see that there's really so much happening, you don't really know what to pay attention to. So it's important to create that hierarchy. So that's about our brand. Now, if we look at our resources, again, we want to empower you guys to be as independent and as self-sufficient as possible. So I have loaded the brand kit onto the Embassy Summer Staff portal, and I'll show you where to find this. You've got the fonts loaded, you've got the logo loaded, you've got our brand guidelines, which is a more detailed version of this presentation. You have this presentation loaded as well. You've got some signage that we have prepared for you already, so you can go ahead and print those out and use them as you need to. And we've also prepared some posters which will help us to promote ourselves on social media and to promote our user-generated content competition. These are the visuals that you will see. So as you can see, we've created these two posters. I'd like to see these printed out A3, so really big and just stuck everywhere on campus. The first one is promoting the competition and the steps that students need to take to win some fabulous prizes. And the second one is just encouraging students to follow us and to use the right hashtag. This is some example then of what the internal signage looks like. So we have signs for all the offices. You've got signs for the bathrooms, for the classrooms. You've got the signs for, pardon me, you've got signs for information about where the nearest doctor is, the nearest religious stations are, and so on. Again, these signs are all loaded into Canva. So if you need to adapt them and to localize them to your own needs, you can do so as you need to. So that brings me very swiftly on to Canva. For those of you who do not know, Canva is an online design software. It's very intuitive. It's not complicated like Photoshop or Illustrator. It's literally dragging and dropping elements into place, changing the size of them, changing the color, the positioning, and so on. We've already created a number of templates for you, so you can just take these, adapt it, and just change the images and change the text in them, so you don't actually need to do any designing from scratch. But you can also feel free to get creative and to get your hands dirty and to experiment and to make your own designs if you need to. This is what Canva looks like. So once you open it up, you have over here the brand kit. Make sure you're selecting the right brand kit because we have the brand kit for both Embassy Summer as well as for Global Achievers Academy loaded. You'll notice it's the right brand kit from the colors. Embassy Summer is very colorful, whereas Global Achievers is more on the green hue. You've got everything loaded here. You've got all the logos uploaded. You've got the fonts, the colors. And if you were to scroll this down, you would even see the shapes loaded. Shapes come originally in black, but once you drag them out of here and onto your design, you can click on them and change the color. And my colleague Kat has actually prepared a video tutorial about how to use Canva. It's a 10-minute long tutorial. I suggest you watch it at your own pace. It's a very intuitive system, so I don't see anybody having too many issues. What's super important with Canva, never overwrite an existing template. Make sure you're always making a copy and saving it to your folders. So there are shared logins for Canva, and I will show you where you can access these. There's one login for North America, one login for the UK, and one login for Malta. And each market has their own folder. So you've got Los Angeles, CSULA, Los Angeles, UCLA, you've got Boston, Toronto, and I am missing somebody, and New York, of course. To keep things simple, make sure you're keeping things organized. Otherwise, it can get very cluttered very quickly. So where can you find the logins? You'll find these in the North America portal. And again, I will, after this presentation, navigate towards it so you can actually see it for yourself. There's also the logins for our Instagram. I do encourage you guys to be going live and to post stories. Never posts, because posts need to be a bit more structured and a bit more planned. But stories, I'm happy for people to be going live from Toronto, from LA, from London, from Cambridge, from Malta. There's nothing better to really get a feel of the program than seeing what's happening live on an activity. So please do log in and stay posting as you see fit. Just in case you ever get stuck, if you want to create some posters and you either don't have the time to do it because it's a really busy week, or if you're just not very confident with Canva, the marketing team is here to support you. We have the marketing support request form. It's a very easy to fill in form that gives us all the information we need to help you out. So there's the title of the request, what are you looking for, who's requesting it, so we'll know exactly who to send the artwork to. The brand is always Embassy Summer. When you want to have this by, and then just fill in some details with as much information as possible to help guide us. I do ask that if you're going to submit a request, give us 48 hours to work on it, because we do get work coming in from all angles. So I would ask you to try and think a bit ahead. We will always, of course, try our best to accommodate. Do bear in mind that we are, I think, 6 to 8 hours ahead of you guys. So there is that time difference. So factor that in. You can access the marketing request form by going to your quick link section on the main portal. You've got Canva and marketing request right underneath each other. If for some reason when you go into the portal you're not seeing them, please send me a message on Teams and we'll troubleshoot to see what's happening. So the best way that I can market Embassy Summer is by showing the experience, right? I really want to show students out and about having fun. This is a photo I took last year. It's a group of Italians that we had in Montreal, and it just really sums up how they're feeling about their experience with Embassy Summer. This is the kind of stuff which I'm looking for. Now, I would love to do a massive tour around the world, go to every center and take photos myself. in a 9-week period, and with my budget, it's not realistic, unfortunately. So I am going to ask you guys to help me out here to just showcase again what an amazing time your students are having. So the first thing that we have is a WhatsApp group, and I believe you have all been added to it. Thank you, Ben and Suzanne. So in this WhatsApp group, ideally, activity leaders are channeling content to activity managers. You're filtering through to make sure that I'm only receiving content of students who have given their consent to appear in photography. 95% of students would have consented to it, but there might be the odd one out who hasn't. And just forward this content onto the WhatsApp group. What's super important is that you're giving me context. Remember, I'm based in an office in Malta, thousands of miles away. So, and I'm not on activities. I was an activity leader 10 years ago. I haven't been for a long time. So I just need a bit of a description, you know. Hi, this is David from CSU LA, and today we're out and about with our students on the Santa Monica Pier. Just so that then my team will go in, we will be downloading all the content. I will be saving it on SharePoint. I will be saving it in folders. So you've got CSU LA, activities, Santa Monica Pier. So throughout the year, between now and summer 2025, I'm using the content that you guys are creating for me on social media. We're using it on our brochures, our flyers, and so on. And it's important to have that context. Another powerful tool that we could have, rather than just relying on the content that Embassy Summer is pushing out, is we want students to be creating the content for us as well. We want them to be uploading their photos, their videos to social media. We want them to be tagging us because that's how we spread brand awareness. And also it shows their friends what a great time they're having with us. So to incentivize students, we have created a user-generated content competition. And after this presentation, I will run you through this. Ideally, this presentation is being delivered on day one when the students arrive. So on their orientation, when you're going through the do's and the don'ts, you know, don't go out and get drunk, don't sneak out. We're breaking it up with something a bit more lighthearted and a bit more fun. This document teaches the students how to take a great photo. I mean, let's be honest, at their age, everybody's glued to their phones anyway, so they'll find value that way. But it also tells them how they can win some prizes. So this is not relevant to America. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Before I move on, are there any questions? Right. I'm hoping that means that I was really clear and not that you guys are still half asleep. So, yeah, Liam, you have a
No.
question. I can't hear
You're
anything,
muted.
Liam.
You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you need to shout a little bit because it's a bit low. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm not hearing you. Kind of.
You're cutting off.
You can also pop your question in the chat and I'll answer it that way if it's easier.
You can just leave.
Oh, shoot.
I'm hoping they'll
They'll
come
come-
back in.
Yeah, they will. We're wide awake, David.
I'm sure of it. I have no doubt. I'm not. It's the end of my working day. It's 6:30 here, so
Okay, we got the live
Is-
West Coast back.
yeah, very good.
Is this clearer, more
Yeah,
loud?
yeah. Perfect.
Perfect. So just in terms of the Instagram stories, would that just be like when we're doing activities and we want to like shoot some video to give people a taste of it?
So either you can do it live on the activity, or else if you get like a really nice video from an activity leader and you want to post it, let's say in the evening, you can do so. I'm leaving it entirely up to you guys. Use your best judgment. Again, it's more that by having everybody from all over the world posting, we get a lot more coverage, and it has to be centralized through us.
Mhm. Okay, sounds good.
I have a question on, can somebody mute? Thank you. Oh, good. In terms of minors and how we treat photos, can you maybe just give us
Yeah.
an overview, like the guidelines here?
Yeah. So essentially, when students sign up, the admissions team will issue the parents a parental consent form. And on this form, they're consenting to us basically having their welfare at heart. One of the things that they can either consent or they can opt out is they can say, I give Embassy Summer consent to use my child's image in their photos, in the marketing collateral. These are all stored on a parental consent form. Tony is extracting the data and creating an Excel sheet, which will say who has permissions and who doesn't, because obviously these. Can you hear us, Kathy? Okay. Yeah. So it's basically just making sure, like from these parental consent forms, who has actually consented or not. If a parent has consented, then we're covered legally, so we don't have any issues. I would suggest, I think Ben actually found this sheet for himself for LA, so I'm not sure what's been created and what hasn't. But I can speak with Tony to see exactly where you can find this information to make sure we've got the right consents.
Ben, does Suzanne have that?
I just put the link in the chat.
You're the best.
Very good, very good.
Thank you. I'll share this with the team here.
Any other questions?
And then just one more. So similar vibe to the Instagram stories. For the anything for TikTok, is it just like fun activities and things?
I mean, if you want to go ahead and create TikToks, again, I encourage you to do so. You can create the content, edit it together, and send it my way, and I'm happy to post it as we go along. Or else, if you just want, if it's too much of a hassle for you, and you just want to if you just want to collect the footage and send it my way, my team will create the TikToks as well. I don't want to create extra work for you guys. You know, I want to make this as easy as possible in reality.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
No problem. Anything else? Cool. So let's move on, right? So let me exit out of this. So let's jump onto the portal, right? So this is the Embassy Summer portal, which I'm assuming you are now all pretty much familiar with, or at least I hope you are. If not, you will be by the end of summer. So if you scroll down here, you'll see a document section, right? And these are documents which are global. So they apply to all of our markets. You've got your academics folder here, which Jill, our academic manager, is currently populating with our lesson plans. You'll see you've got beginner, week 1, week 2, and so on. Where I come in is, I'll just add them in again.
I got you.
So if you go into marketing over here, you'll find you've got all of the fonts loaded here. You've got all of our logos. So you've got them in different variations. So we can actually go into tiles and you see what I mean. Like you've got Embassy Summer in black, you've got the all white version, you've got the colors, but the white. So you can use it as you need to. You've got our brand guidelines. So this is, again, a more detailed version of the presentation I gave you. If you want to just go to that at your own pace, you're more than welcome to. You've got our classroom signage. So this is the stuff that we have already prepared for you. Now, obviously, this is a bit outdated and a lot of it is UK-centric. You don't need to print out everything. Obviously, print only what's relevant to you. And you've also got your internal signage over here. So you've got, for example, your center office, and you can either go in on Canva and type out what you want here. So if, for example, you want to put in the office opening hours, or if you want to put in the center manager name and their contact details, you can do that. Or you can even print it out and handwrite it. I am not too fussy about that. Over here, you've got the social media competition posters. Again, I'd like to see these printed out big and stuck as much as possible all over the center. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'll also be uploading some posters later on this week related to mental health and well-being. So just to make you aware, EC subscribes to a subscription called Lyra Wellbeing. So obviously summer can be very chaotic. It's very easy for burnout. This is a system that allows, there is a chat functionality where you'll be connected 24/7 to a trained counselor. They have helpful articles which you can read, but you can even book in face-to-face or online counseling sessions in your area. So we'll be uploading some posters here where people can get more information. If you want to read about it, there's an article over here called Your Wellbeing at EC, which goes into our well-being policy and goes into more information about this. So I just want to make sure that our staff feel supported and that they have the adequate backing. So we'll be creating those visuals as well. I will send an email around to everybody once the artworks are uploaded. So that's where you can find the marketing resources. So over here, this is the presentation that we should be delivering on orientation day about social media. If you click on this button here, it will open up in full screen mode. So I'll just run through this really briefly. It's pretty self-explanatory. So it starts by going into a bit of a welcome message about Embassy Summer, where we're saying that we're really glad that people have come and decided to join us, and how we want to help people to show the memories that they're making to their friends and family. Then it goes into the importance of asking for permission, making sure, because even though somebody may have consented to being in the photos, they may not necessarily feel comfortable showing. So it's always important, ask people, can we take a selfie? Can I take a photo? And so on. This applies to both staff and for students. Then it goes into details about how to take the perfect shot. So there's a bit of academics here. So we're talking about some keywords. So shoot means to take a photo. Portrait means you're taking a photo vertical. Landscape means you're taking a photo horizontal. Soft light means light which passes through a filter. For example, sunlight coming through clouds. Backlighting means lighting which comes from behind your subject. Subject is who or what you are shooting, and a silhouette is a subject which will appear very dark. And I go into these details because moving on, I go and give information about how to take the great shot, avoid shooting at an angle, make sure you're always shooting straight on. Shoot portrait for stories, for reels, for TikToks, shoot vertical for posts on social media, on Facebook and on Instagram. Make sure that you're clearing away any rubbish so that you have a really nice shot. Make sure you're posing away from rubbish bins, you're not posing in bathrooms and so on. So you've got an example of what a good shot looks like and what a not so great shot looks like. Information about lighting. So if you're shooting in strong light, you're going to end up with some harsh shadows like you've got over here. Whereas if the light is filtered, it's going to create softer shadows. You can't really see any shadows in this photo. This is one of my favorite photos I've seen actually from our team in New York from 2022, I believe. Then there's information like backlighting causes silhouette. So if the light is coming from behind the subject, they're going to appear darker and details are lost. So always make sure that the light is coming from in front of your subject to get a really nice shot. And a pro tip from our end, if you're going to take a group photo, take the photo 4 or 5 times because somebody is always going to have their eyes closed. Some more information about lighting, beware of flares, so these big bursts of light. And to do this, it's always best to avoid taking photos of direct light. Then it goes into hashtags, some information about what is a hashtag. So a hashtag is a piece of information which will help your content to reach the right people based on what they're searching for or what they enjoy. And why should we use them? So it's really useful for us in marketing because it will, or for people in general, because if they're following hashtag Embassy Summer, they're going to see what students are doing from all over the world. And in marketing, we are monitoring the hashtags. So we will be resharing the content to our channel. So it's a good way to give the students some exposure. This is the hashtag that we use. So it's hashtag Embassy Summer. And on our social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, it's at Embassy Summer to tag us. So this is the exciting bit, talking about competitions and prizes. Now I need to adapt this presentation for you guys in the US because it does mention the price that we have in the UK. So I will be adapting this and again uploading it to the portal, and I will email you guys once I have sorted that out. So every week, the marketing team at EC Central in Malta will be keeping an eye on hashtag Embassy Summer, right? And we're going to pick the best photo or the best video from every center, and the winner will win some great Embassy Summer prizes. So we're going to have a winner from UCLA, a winner from CSU, a winner from Boston, from New York, from Toronto, a winner from all 22 centers in the UK, a winner from all of our centers in Malta. So in the UK, they win a hoodie or a hat. In the US, we've agreed that the price is going to be a gift voucher. I need to have a chat with Kathy to see exactly what this gift voucher will look like, which is why I haven't updated this presentation yet, but it will be updated this week because you need to obviously deliver this on Monday for your first arrivals. So the rules of the competition is really straightforward. All the students need to know is they need to upload the photos that they're taking or videos to Instagram or TikTok. They need to tag at Embassy Summer and use hashtag Embassy Summer. And they need to be following us on social media. They need to be following us on Instagram or on Facebook or on TikTok, whatever they're uploading to, and they need to be tagging the location of where they are. So obviously I need to know that the student is in CSULA or in UCLA or in Boston so that I can actually pick the right winner from each center. So it's important they tag their location. So every Wednesday in marketing, we're going to have an internal vote for the best content. And by Thursday latest, we will be communicating with the center manager to let them know who the winner is that week. That way, the activity managers or activity leaders can announce the winner of the competition on the Friday. So it's a nice way to kind of close off the week. Then it closes off by making sure to follow us on Embassy Summer so that we're resharing your content. Follow us and tag us so that we can give you credit when we're sharing it. And it's sort of, again, going into at Embassy Summer everywhere. So it's a very simple presentation, but I think it would be a really effective way to kind of break up what could otherwise be a very heavy sort of orientation. And the last thing that I want to show you guys is if you go into the training center over here, and if you scroll down, there is a 10-minute video which goes into Canva, which my colleague has created. And it just sort of shows you how to use Canva, how to use the elements. Again, it's a very intuitive, very user-friendly system. Again, if at any point you need any support, you can find my email address over here on the back of this presentation. So that's me. Either drop me an email or drop me a message on Teams. Even though I am ahead of you guys, I am very responsive. Yes, thank you. The login details. That's the last thing which I need to tell you. So if you navigate to the North America portal over here, and you go into Marketing Manager, you'll find the marketing logins over here. And you've got the login details for Instagram and the login details for Canva. The reason I did not put them in the presentation is that the presentations will live on the main Embassy Summer portal over here, and it's accessible to everybody. And I don't want activity leaders having access to these logins. Right. So are there any questions now that I've gone into a bit more detail? Okay, very good. So we're finishing 20 minutes early. I'll let you guys get on with your days. Thank you all so much for your attention and for your time. Again, I am always around. Those of you in Boston might see me. I don't think anybody here is from Boston, though, are they?
Carlos
There's
is.
Carlos. So Carlos might see me around because I will be in Boston for Global Achievers Academy at some point in July. I wish you guys all the very best for the summer. Hope you have a great summer ahead, and I hope things go well for you. Good luck with your
Thanks,
first
David.
arrivals.
Thank you.
Thank you so
David,
much.
can you stay on with me? I have a couple
Yeah.
of questions. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All righty. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao. what I'll do is I will just stop the recording.
Oh, yeah.